Hi, welcome to Arts Focus. I am Sarah Dresser with the city's Office of Cultural Affairs, and Arts Focus is a chance for us to get to know our various arts agencies in Columbia. And today we have with us Sarah Catlin, who's the Executive Director of Access Arts, and we're happy to have you here. You are new in your role, so I am going to put you on the spot and having you share all of the details about your agency. Yep. So just give a little background, a little history. I know this is an organization that has been in Columbia for quite a number of years. So if you can just give us a little background on your organization and history, that'd be great.
Sure. We were founded in 1971 by Hearst John. That's the dad of Martha John and John, the realtor, so who are still around here in town. And they had, Martha and John had a brother who had cerebral palsy and was wheelchair bound. And if you think about it, historically in 71, ADA, not quite a thing yet, their dad wanted him to be able to have quality art experiences with other kids, and there wasn't such a thing available, so he created it. And it was called School of Service initially. In 79, it was handed over to Naoma Powell, and she was the executive director for about 25 years. So a lot of people remember her. She was quite a force in our community. And so that was the impetus. It's, our mission is creative art experiences for everyone. And starting back with that son who didn't have access to classes. And so the family thought this is something our community needs, and they made it happen.
Right. And, speaking of just the long history of your organization in Columbia, I was a kid who grew up here. So we were talking before we started filming, and I had the privilege of taking art courses with Access Arts as a young person from maybe age 11 through 18. And I think even when I was back from college, I would do summer classes just to kind of fill my time. And of course, you offer opportunities for all ages. So maybe just talk a little bit about all the different types of classes that people might be interested in for both youth and adults.
You bet. Yeah. So when we say everyone, we mean everyone. I would say from kindergarten age or so. Like, we don't do babies. It'd be hard to do art with a baby. We don't have baby programming. But, from kindergarten through the whole cycle of someone's life, we do, typically, our bread and butter is these 6-week classes, and there's youth classes and adult classes, and that would be in pottery/ceramics, so it could be hand building with clay or throwing it on the potting wheel, weaving and fibers, different kinds of fibers projects, and we do 2D art like drawing and painting. In the past, we've had digital classes, we've had photography. It kind of varies depending on who we have on staff at the time and what their specialties might be. We're doing a printmaking class right now because one of our artists in residence, which we'll talk about in a minute, is a really good printmaker. And so we have the 6-week classes. We also have, for parents, spring break is coming up, and we do have a camp to cover their childcare over spring break or days that school is out, called School's Out. So on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we had a group of kiddos over staying with us nice and warm and safe while their parents worked. We have summer camps. All this is on the website, schoolofservice.org. So kind of childcare/camp situations, class situations. We do things like one-offs, like a date night. We have 2 date nights coming up actually I think we had to open up a third one on Valentine's Day. And that's where 2 friends or a couple can come in and just in one sitting experience throwing on the wheel. If they manage to make something, we can fire it. It's not guaranteed that you'll have a finished product. As you could probably attest, you might not get a wonderful, fully finished wheel thrown project your first go in less than 2 hours. But you can at least experience it. We also do hand building, so you would actually, for sure, could walk out with a product if that's what you were going to want to do. We've got workshops, and I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything.
A lot of opportunities, and for people who are interested, signing up on the website schoolservice.org. Do your classes fill up really quick? Like, when do you usually recommend, especially for those 6-week courses, kind of getting on to make sure you have a spot? Because I know that some of them are probably
they can fill up. If they fill quickly, we can sometimes arrange for a second class, and so it's great if people could sign up early if they're thinking about it, so we'll know if we need to open up a second class. I believe yesterday our schedule for session 2 went live, and that'll start the last week of February. It's like the last week of February, all of March, and I think maybe 2 weeks into April, because spring break creates an off week. So it's actually kind of a 7-week session with a week out. And that schedule is up on the website. I don't think we're actually taking registrations yet, but you can do a wait list and say, I'm interested, and bookmark
mark your calendars. And then for the summer, so tell me about, do you do regular 6-week sessions during the summer, or do you shift more to, like, I know you offer some week-long summer camps as well. How does the kind of summer programming work for you?
So the 6-week classes continue. Just over the top of it. A lot of those are evening classes because people work typically during the day. So a lot of those are in the evening, but not all, or on weekends. And then the camps, parents can sign up for a week at a time.
Great.
So they don't have to commit to the entire summer. They can be like, this week would be great for some help, or this week would, or they can do all of them. And there's like a bulk discount. If you need to sign up for multiple weeks, then you get like a little bit of a break.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's great. And you know, I remember, speaking of the class I usually enrolled in was that Saturday morning session. So 10 to 12, I'd be doing pottery every week at Access Arts, and that was just kind of a regular.
My daughter just started last week.
A regular thing for me.
Yep.
So that's just a great memory.
Yeah, my youngest is 10, and she just started with Tavia. She's in the weaving, the fibers class, 10 to 12. On Saturday mornings, and last week was her first week, and she came home so excited. She'd made this beautiful notebook, and she'd embroidered through the cover with floss and made these flowers and her name, and then she's like, and then I was done, so she taught me to make remember friendship bracelets where you'd like slip knot it? She's like, and then I made this friendship bracelet, Mom, and I was just like, oh my goodness.
Well, and I think
had such a good time.
It's great too for youth especially. You know, they have something that they can walk away with, and maybe it is not just a piece of art, but it's something that you can use, you know, like with pottery, you're maybe using your bowls or mugs, and, you know, with the weaving, you're making a notebook, a journal that not just looks pretty, but you can use it as well. So it's really, I think, a different, you know, you have a lot of other disciplines, not just, you know, painting and drawing that you're offering to the community. And that's, I think, just adds a special layer. So we talked a lot about your programs. I know you do also have a handful of maybe kind of special events throughout the year, or some other kind of special programs. If you don't mind talking about that and some of your other community partnerships, that would be great.
Yeah, and so the thing I didn't mention in the classes is we also offer private parties. So that could be like a birthday party, a bachelorette party, just friends getting together and wanting to do something crafty in one go in a longer session, corporate team building, all these things. The CPS brings their teachers usually once a year and does a big workshop on one of their school days when they're doing the trainings for their staff. So we're open for that. And then, you know, one of the programs I'm really proudest of, and talking about partnerships, is we've been a partner in education with Benton Elementary, which is walking distance to our campus. We haven't talked about the campus yet. We should talk about that. And they're walking distance from us. And so 2 days a week during the school year, we have a group of staff members who are paid, who walk over, and we meet them and we gather them up in their little art room there, and we give them a really good healthy snack. And then we walk them back to Access Arts, and they stay with us after school until about 5:30, until one of their grown-ups comes to get them, and we provide art classes for them. It varies. It's not the same thing every week, but extra art instruction for them. It's absolutely free for them. It's called the Benton Art Club. That's grant funded, which brings me back to, we're a nonprofit. And so one of our events that we hold to help raise money to fund things like that, or our classes for veterans, or needing special equipment for some of our adaptive classes, is Celebrity. And you're familiar with it, I know, but it's kind of our gala. And so over the course of the spring, we pair up local celebrities. Like, you could be a celebrity, you would be famous enough.
Yeah, sure.
And celebrities with a professional artist. And these pairs go off on their own, and they come up with a project. And it's been everything from, you know, painting, weaving, murals. I mean, all sorts of things have happened over the years, quilting. And so this pair will create some art, something that the celebrity is interested in and has been curious about. They create some pieces of art, a little video gets made, they have an event at some point during their process and invite friends to come watch at least part of this process happening. And then we all get together at the Blue Note in the fall, and at the gala and watch the little short videos of all the different pairs, and eat and drink. And they have a competition for fundraising, which team can fundraise the most money for the organization. And then we auction off some of the art pieces that were made by the celebrities.
I know I've attended before.
Yeah.
For other
Yeah.
celebrities
Because
that
you had
I've
friends who were
known.
celebrities.
Yeah, and it is a really fun event, and I think it's great as well. Even if someone has an arts background, they might choose or get paired with an artist not
With
in
a
an
different
area
discipline.
that they haven't experienced before, and come up with something creative. And I think that's something as well. So when we get so busy in our daily lives, if there's ways to stretch our own creativity and focus on something
It's
different.
good for your brain, right?
That's just good for us as
It's
humans.
good for your brain. It's good for your heart to break out of that shell and stretch yourself and be a little bit uncomfortable and learn something different.
And hopefully, I'm sure this event also is spreading the awareness of your organization to many in the community. So I'm really happy that has been successful for you and continues to do so. I know we do want to talk about, I guess, your campus, like where you're located. Where do people go for these classes? So you can share a little bit about
where we are and maybe who they would find there. So we have 3 buildings that we own right at McAllister and 63. So that's just off the business loop. We can almost see the Westlake at the business loop outside our door. So we're right there near Westlake, north of Stevens Lake Park. And we've got 2 residential houses. One was Naoma's house, Naoma Powell, who was donated, and the neighbor donated a home upon their death. And then we've got a studio we built across the street. So Naoma's home is now kind of our offices are in there, and you'll find me upstairs on the first floor if you come and see us. And then in the basement, it's broken up into some studio spaces for our artists and residents. The house next door has housing for 3 people, 3 bedrooms, and they share it. It's furnished so that when our artists and residents come, 3 of them can have room and board provided. And then across the street, it's kind of a 2-level building. That's where you had your classes. Where upstairs is weaving, including a huge room full of these floor looms. I mean, this big, massive, floor looms with the shuttles that move. And table looms. And then downstairs is our original ceramic studio. And then we were having trouble keeping up with the demand for ceramics classes. So we, a couple of years ago, rented a space. It's completely removed from all this. It's over north of the Columbia Mall. If you know where Columbia Independent School is, it's about 3 doors north of that, off of Stadium. And on the left, off Cottle Drive. It's right there on Stadium and Cottle. And you'll see our logo on the building. It's a big gray metal building, and it's a huge ceramic studio in there, industrial. I don't know how high this, like 30-foot ceilings. They're huge ceilings. There's a little gallery space when you first walk in. So we can have little gallery shows and accommodate much larger groups.
Right. So
for classes.
I think ceramics is definitely probably one of the things you're known for.
That and the weaving, because you just don't get it anywhere else, really.
Exactly. So you're really filling that need for those opportunities in the community. Like you said, you know, just so much demand that you found this other space in another part of town. But I think it's great that your footprint has grown. And I like how you mentioned kind of your artists and residents and the different, houses. You're really within kind of a neighborhood.
We are.
Where you're kind of
and
it
looks residential.
Yeah,
when you pull up to our offices, it looks like a home.
And it feels, which I really love that about Columbia, is you really are that, kind of the epitome of that community arts organization. And when you arrive and you're taking a class, you really do feel like you are in, you are in the community literally, and feel right at home. So I think that has just over the years just been what's made you really special. And I'm happy to see that you're still doing well. Anything I didn't ask you about that you really want to share ahead of us wrapping up?
I wanted to talk about the Benton program because I'm so proud of that. I mentioned that we serve veterans. We have classes specifically for veterans that are funded through the VA. And so anyone who's a veteran can apply for those, and the course is paid for by the Truman VA. So there's a place to sign up on our website for that at schoolofservice.org. We have any number of ways to help people who need any kind of an adaptive class. So don't hesitate to reach out if you've got some special kinds of needs or need some accommodations. I mean, that's our jam. That's our game. We've got paraprofessionals that can kind of help you, sit alongside you in a class. If you need an extra person to help you in some way, we can adapt the equipment. We have a pottery wheel. I took ceramics in college, and I did not know these things existed. We have a pottery wheel that you can wheel up to in a wheelchair and operate kind of with your arms over at Cottle. It's like, wow.
Well, that's awesome.
So
I'm happy that you're kind of advancing with all the needs and really able to meet people where they are and
everyone.
make it work.
Yeah,
No
for
matter what the
everyone.
need is. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me today and talking about Access Arts. And again, schoolservice.org is where people can find out more. And we're looking forward to seeing what's coming your first full year here as the new executive director.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come share about our sweet little nonprofit.